Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my retro review for The Phantom of the Opera, which came out in 1925, 100 years ago, and stars Lon Chaney. This movie takes place at a Paris opera house in the late 19th century, and follows a series of creepy events involving this mysterious phantom that resides in the building, blackmailing certain performers, having an affection for one of them who is aiming to be a rising star, which involves this upcoming performer being a prisoner of the phantom, and her fiance and a lot of other people trying to rescue her and dispose of the supposed Phantom of the Opera. This was the movie that was supposed to kick off my retro review series for these Universal monster movies. And like I said in my review for Hunchback, that movie is just too important for me to just skip entirely. But this, I think, is the real start of the Universal monster films, because Hunchback definitely laid the groundwork for certain things, but that was more of a historical drama. This is a horror movie. This is a ghost story, and I think it is done expertly. Much like with Hunchback of Notre Dame, the big highlight of the movie is Lon Chaney. His performance in this movie is just excellent. Once again, his performance is done through a lot of physical acting, and the makeup work is phenomenal. I didn't mention this with my review for Hunchback, but Lon Chaney was famous for doing his own makeup, which really earned him the name the Man of a Thousand Faces. He was responsible for all of his own makeup work, and I gotta say, 100 years later, the makeup job for the Phantom is just as creepy now as I imagine it was back in 1925. The reveal of the Phantom is frightening, and there's that one shot where he's looking down at Christine and is just, it's scary. Like 100 years later, that look, that shot right there still creeps me out. One element about the Phantom, though, that separates him from Quasimodo is that he's his own agent. He's the one that's really pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And while there is some sympathy for him, the fact that he's deformed and people fear him, he's truly a monster. Quasimodo was very misunderstood, and you had a lot of sympathy for him. This guy can be flat out sadistic at points, and by the time you get to the end of the movie, you're just like, yeah, I don't really care about him. Like, he's a great villain. There are points where I do feel a little sympathy towards him, but he's got to go. The production design is also a major standout. The opera set is massive, it's grand, it's beautiful looking, it makes really good use of shadows. There's a good chunk of this movie where the Phantom is kept in the dark, and a lot of the time you see his shadow wandering around the opera, and it's chilling. Like, the opera set itself is just iconic, and I don't mean that in a figurative way. For those of you that don't know this story, the Phantom of the Opera set was built on the now demolished Stage 28 at the Universal backlot. And those Phantom of the Opera sets stayed in Soundstage 28 until it was demolished. The reason they never tore down the Phantom sets for other productions is because a lot of people believe that there was a curse attached to those sets, and if they demolished them, then that would be bad. But apparently when the stage got demolished, they did save some of the sets. So I would like to know where those sets are. I think that would be really cool to know if those actual sets from Phantom of the Opera were preserved. But the thing that now occupies Stage 25 is the show building for Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. So, I mean, I love Mario Kart, I love Super Nintendo World, but I kind of wish that it didn't have to destroy this important piece of film history. The rest of the movie just has a really good, creepy atmosphere to it. Hunchback never really had that, which again, is fine because it was not a horror movie. This is a horror movie, and because there's a lot of use of shadows, because you don't get a good view of the Phantom until halfway through the movie, it really did lay the groundwork for the other Universal monsters that would follow, especially Dracula and Frankenstein. So I'd say more than Hunchback of Notre Dame, the history of the Universal monsters owes its legacy to the Phantom of the Opera. And 100 years later, I can definitely see why. It is absolutely worth seeing in your lifetime. I like this movie a lot more than Hunchback of Notre Dame, but much like with that and The Lost World, you do have to be in the right mindset to watch this movie. And for me, this is the quintessential silent horror film. And there you go, that's my review for 1925's The Phantom of the Opera. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, before we move on to Dracula, there is one other movie I have to cover involving Phantom of the Opera, and that's the 1943 colored remake. The way this retro review series is going to work is I'm going to be covering all the monsters, regardless of how many times I jump throughout the years. So I'm covering all the Phantom of the Opera movies first, then Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy, etc., before I end with The Creature from the Black Lagoon. So next up is going to be my review for the colored remake of Phantom of the Opera starring Claude Rains. So thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I want to give a special thank you to my subscribers and YouTube members right over here. You guys are the reason why this channel continues to grow every day, and if you want to help to financially support the channel, you could do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. But until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.